Welcome to APush for 5, your daily all-in-one study partner for the AP exam. We'll guide you through real stimulus-based APUS history practice questions. We have a total of over 150 videos that will be uploaded daily. These will go in chronological order, covering every period from pre-Columbus to modern day. We've got this. Here comes a set of questions from Period 3, 1754 to 1800. Question 1. Stimulus. See exhibits. Question. Which of the following best compares the political ideas in excerpts A and B? A. Both assert that colonial assemblies are the only legitimate taxing bodies in the empire. B. A defends virtual representation, while B insists on actual representation in determining taxes. C. A upholds colonial corporate charters, whereas B rejects all royal authority. D. Both rely primarily on religious rather than constitutional arguments. The correct answer is B. A defends virtual representation, while B insists on actual representation in determining taxes. Grenville's position reflects virtual representation. Parliament legislates for all British subjects. The colonists countered that only their own elected representatives could tax them, demanding actual representation. Question 2. Stimulus. See graph. Question. Which conclusion is best supported by the data? A. Britain's early numerical dominance guaranteed decisive victories in every major battle of the war. B. The Continental Army's smaller size reflected a deliberate strategy to avoid reliance on militias. C. Colonial resistance depended on ideological unity and foreign aid rather than numbers. D. British superiority in troop numbers was offset by colonial access to advanced weaponry and training. The correct answer is C. Colonial resistance depended on ideological unity and foreign aid rather than numbers. The graph underscores Britain's vast resources, yet the colonies prevailed through sustained morale, alliances, and strategic endurance, not manpower alone. Question 3. Stimulus. See excerpts. Question. Taken together, the policies in excerpts A and B illustrate which shift between 1763 and the 1790s? A. From imperial restrictions on westward movement to U.S. encouragement of trans-Appalachian expansion. B. From mercantilist protection to complete free trade with Europe. C. From strict neutrality to a formal alliance with Spain. D. From deference to indigenous sovereignty to a permanent binational border commission. The correct answer is A. From imperial restrictions on westward movement to U.S. encouragement of trans-Appalachian expansion. The Proclamation line curtailed colonial settlement, while Pinckney's treaty opened western rivers to American use. The new republic pivoted toward organized expansion across the Appalachians. Question 4. Stimulus. See graph. Question. Which events best explain the two steep declines in imports? A. The Sugar Act and the Proclamation of 1763. B. The Townshend Acts and the Quebec Act. C. The Tea Act and the Embargo of 1807. D. Colonial resistance after the Sugar Act and the results of the Intolerable Acts boycotts. The correct answer is D. Colonial resistance after the Sugar Act and the results of the Intolerable Acts boycotts. The declines coincide with organized colonial resistance and boycotts of British goods. Each wave of resistance corresponded to major parliamentary taxation measures. Question 5. Stimulus. See excerpts. Question: which statement best compares excerpts A and B? A. Both argue that criticism of government must be prosecuted to maintain order. B. A and B both expand protections for political expression against government overreach. C. A limits speech while B expands it. D. Both insist that federal courts, not juries or states, decide questions of speech. The correct answer is B. A and B both expand protections for political expression against government overreach. The resolutions protest federal suppression of speech. The Zenger precedent encourages jury resistance to libel prosecutions. Both push back against centralized attempts to curtail dissent. Question 6. Stimulus. Excerpt. 1790. Slavery in a land of liberty is an abomination to heaven. Petition of the Pennsylvania Abolition Society. Question: which contemporaneous development most directly conflicted with this statement? A. The passage of gradual emancipation laws in several northern states following independence. B. The establishment of the Northwest Ordinance, which prohibited slavery north of the Ohio River. C. Expansion of slavery in the Deep South due to the cotton gin. D. The ratification of the Bill of Rights, which affirmed individual liberty but remained silent on enslavement. The correct answer is C. Expansion of slavery in the Deep South due to the cotton gin. While Northern reformers called slavery immoral, Southern dependence on cotton deepened. The late 1790s saw slavery become more entrenched, not less. Question 7. Stimulus. See image. Question: which economic principle did the activity in the image exemplify? A. Import substitution and protest through self-sufficiency. B. Household production as a moral economy gesture without economic aims. C. Proto-industrial mechanization modeled on Arkwright's waterframe in Britain. D. Compliance with enumerated goods restrictions under the Navigation Acts. The correct answer is A. Import substitution and protest through self-sufficiency. Homespinning embodied economic resistance, rejecting British textiles to assert colonial independence. It united political principle and domestic labor. Question 8. Stimulus. See excerpts. Question: which comparison is most accurate regarding national priorities? A. A emphasizes orderly Republican development of the West. B restricts settlement to preserve imperial control and reduce conflict. B. A binding halt to all U.S. claims west of the Appalachians. C. Recognition of native sovereignty over the entire Old Northwest. D. Immediate admission of Ohio as a state without further conflict. The correct answer is A. A emphasizes orderly Republican development of the West. B restricts settlement to preserve imperial control and reduce conflict. The ordinance mapped out Republican institutions, townships, schools, and territorial steps to statehood. Britain's Proclamation prioritized control and stability over colonial land claims. Question 9. Stimulus. See excerpts. Together, these excerpts reflect what about U.S. and indigenous relations from 1763 to 1795? A. A binding halt to all U.S. claims west of the Appalachians. B. A transition from British boundary management to U.S. treaty making that facilitated American settlement. C. Recognition of native sovereignty over the entire Old Northwest. D. Immediate admission of Ohio as a state without further conflict. The correct answer is B, a transition from British boundary management to U.S. treaty making that facilitated American settlement. After independence, U.S. treaties, often following military victory, converted contested zones into ceded lands. British lines gave way to American legal instruments enabling settlement. Question 10. Stimulus. See excerpts. Question. Which diplomatic stance in the 1790s most clearly implemented the principles in Excerpt B after the independence recognized in Excerpt A? A. Reaffirmation of the 1778 alliance with France. B. Strict enforcement of neutrality during European wars. C. Covert military alignment with Britain to seize Spanish Florida. D. A hemispheric collective security pact with indigenous confederacies. The correct answer is B. Strict enforcement of neutrality during European wars. Washington's administration navigated European conflicts with neutrality proclamations and treaty balancing. That policy maintained independence without binding the U.S. to permanent alliances. Thanks for watching A Push for 5. Let us know in the comments which questions you liked the most. If today's practice helped you, tap like, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future videos. And share this with a friend who's also aiming for that 5. If you want more hands-on learning or direct feedback, reach out directly. We'd love to help you take your prep to the next level. See you in the next video.